Hi, I'm Stephen Feuerstein, and I write practically perfect PLSQL. Hello, my name is Stephen Feuerstein, and I'm here to offer you my Coding Therapy for Software Professionals session. Otherwise known as, how does this code make you feel? So what I'm going to do is use the motif of therapy to offer some lessons about writing software, but I want to make sure that you all understand right off the bat that I'm not making fun of therapy, and I'm certainly not a licensed therapist. I understand that therapy can be very helpful to human beings. I've done it myself and probably will do it again in the future before my life's work is complete. So I know that it's serious stuff. And I'll even be talking, for example, about shock therapy, and I know that shock therapy is pretty awful stuff. So please don't anyone think that I'm making fun of therapy or anyone going to therapy. But what I have found is that we can learn from therapy and apply it into the world of software and look at a few code-related issues when it comes to doing therapy. So you might be saying to yourself, though, why would therapy be of use to developers besides the, just straight old therapy that you might use to deal with issues you're having with your coworkers and whatever else? So why would I have this idea that I could do a coding therapy session for software developers? Well, I think it's pretty basic and obvious. In fact, software is a product of our brain and our body working together. And so the question becomes, how is your brain and body doing? So sure, some software is generated by other software, by computers, but most of the software today still is being written by humans who sit there and they type away. And because of that, they need a body to do their typing, so they've got a brain to do their thinking. They've got their body to externalize their thoughts into the computer one way or the other, whether you're using your hands or maybe your feet. I once had a person attend one of my talks who had no hands. He was a software developer who used his feet. When I asked people to raise their hands in response to a question, he raised his foot. He seemed to be doing quite fine at it. So whatever you use to externalize your thought into software, we do rely on our bodies. We rely obviously on our minds. Consequently, human physiology, the way we evolved over millions of years, and human psychology, essentially what our parents did to us, can have an enormous impact, do have an enormous impact on how we write code and how we miswrite code. So that's the underlying driver behind these therapy sessions. Now, I'm going to be covering 5 different types of therapy for software developers. First, game therapy. We'll start off light. Software is incredibly serious business. I mean, even if you're writing a fun app to run on somebody's phone that only allows you to click on cows or whatever that game was. Whatever it is, the app you're writing might be pretty silly, but writing the software for it's pretty serious stuff. So sure, I'm not saying don't take your job seriously, but it is worthwhile to lighten up your day, which you can do with games, and what's even better is to find games that you can play that give you some relief from the strenuous work of writing code and also help you become better software developers. And I'm going to give you a few examples of that. Dream therapy. Sometimes conscious attention to a problem, like really focusing on it, banging your head against the wall for hours at a time, I must fix this bug, I must sort it out, is the worst path to the solution. In fact, you never get to the solution. And maybe it's worthwhile to consider taking a different approach, perhaps using your dreams to solve your problems. Third, confessional therapy. And the key point here is that it's okay to admit you don't know something. It's okay to admit ignorance. It does not lessen you in front of your coworkers. But if you do not admit ignorance, if you're not ready to confess, then you're just going to be zapping bugs into your code all over the place, because ignorance leads directly to bugs in software. Bad design, bad code, you name it. Fifth, shock therapy. So what I want to talk about here is not electroshock therapy. Believe me, not even getting shocks from your computers around you, but how we end up working in ruts. We do the same thing day in and day out, year in, year out. And we often develop some early habits that stick with us a lot longer than they should. So I want to encourage you to jump out of those ruts, break some habits, establish new habits, and look at your work a little bit differently than you may be doing so now. And finally, couples therapy. Yes, we're going to do couples therapy. Can't we all just get along? So I'll do couples therapy for DBAs and developers, database administrators and developers. And also, to finish up, developers and their managers. So, game therapy, dream therapy, confessional therapy, shock therapy, couples therapy, all sorts of therapy that software developers can experience to improve their writing of software. Hope you'll enjoy all of my different sessions of therapy and come back over and over again for more. So thanks very much for joining me on this introductory review of coding therapy for software developers, and happy PL/SQL coding.